Hello, my name is Kelsey. This is my YouTube channel. On this channel, I like to talk about a lot of things, mostly my knitting and crochet. Today on this channel, we will be going over my current WIPs for the month of March. Let's just say, let's summarize this as I had 2 back-to-back pattern tests in January and then in February. So once those pattern tests were done and I had the freedom to just sort of go forever for whatever project was like catching my fancy, let's just say I went a little crazy with the cast-ons, especially this past week. I was enabled and I let myself be enabled, and I don't necessarily regret it, but I do think this situation is kind of funny, because I have always kind of identified as like a monogamous like knitter person, where I just like, I focus on my one thing, I finish the one thing, and then I move on to the next thing. And in this moment, I think I went a little crazy. I went on spring break and was just falling in love and having sex with all the WIPs. I don't know. This metaphor is fully breaking down. But so we've got a couple things here. The other thing that is sort of affecting the WIPs is that at this moment, it is very much coming into spring. And here in Utah, there's still snow on the ground, but the way spring works here is that it'll be 1 week of just beautiful weather. Like currently, it is beautiful outside. It is not a cloud in the sky, bluebird day, like perfect temperature. It is like, it's so nice outside right now. And then 3 days ago, it was snowing, hailing, and raining alternately throughout the day. So here in Utah, the weather is pretty inconsistent, and you kind of have first spring, second winter, second spring, and like you kind of have like a very weird like jagged transitionary series of weather before you actually get into like summer. But digressing from that, so I have a couple of WIPs that are very soon going to not be seasonal, and I've decided I'm going to be okay with it because it'll probably be cold next year. I assume it has always been cold before, so I assume it'll get cold again. But I've casted all these WIPs on because I have wound up the yarn into cakes and they're out of like their skein form, and I don't like leaving wound up cakes and not using them. Like I don't like leaving wound up cakes if I'm not immediately planning on casting something on. So I have these pieces that are not necessarily going to be the most weather appropriate coming up here soon, because I don't want these cakes to be left to languish until the next fall. And I'm okay with that because I assume these will be usable next year. So that is a very roundabout way of getting to the point. So let's get right into the news. So let's talk about probably the most boring one, because that makes sense. I have 2 of these Fua cakes and then 1 of these just like BFL high twist fingering yarns, and I've casted on a simple thing scarf. We have about not even an inch of scarf here. That's because I had about 6 inches of scarf, and then I decided to frog it and start over again because I was doing my increases incorrectly, and I figured out how to do a right leaning increase, and I didn't like how it was looking in the original scarf, and I just decided to rip it all out and start again. So I did that, and here this is, a very boring purple scarf that is definitely not a scarf yet. But this is definitely totally not going to be weather appropriate by the time it is done, especially since it is now not even top priority scarf. There are other priority scarves in the midst of being worked on, but I am excited to have it finished. I like having finished items. This pattern is the Simple Thing pattern, and it's for a DK yarn, I think. And I don't know what size needle. I think a size 7 needle is what the pattern calls for. I'm using a size 8 because I didn't really like the drape I was getting on the original scarf I cast on, so I just decided to up a needle size and see how that worked. But yeah, so that is WIP number 1, and probably the lowest priority WIP. Then I have my only ongoing crochet WIP, which is fun for me. And that is this shawl. It is the Dandelion Shawl by Fiber and Fox. I am pretty decently far in. It's definitely curling up a lot, and I'm hoping it'll block out, but I do think this whole section is just going to be wrinkly for the rest of eternity. This is my only crochet WIP, and it's because like whenever I feel like crocheting, I just grab this and like do a couple things. But this is all Lovejoy Fibers yarn. I think I went over it in my spring plans, so you can find like specific information about this shawl on my Ravelry or in that video. But it's all Lovejoy Fibers. This green is Clover, and then this white is, I think, Supernova. But that shawl, I don't have a lot to say about it. I've just been working on it alternatively, but it is not what is currently like eating at my brain. Like, that project is not what's giving me brain worms. There are other projects. There's one project that is currently giving me brain worms, and 2 projects I have to get to a certain point before I can focus on the project that has been giving me brain worms. So let's discuss the 2 projects I have to get to a certain stage with before I can focus on the project that is giving me brain worms. And that is, let's start with this one because I'm a lot further into it. And this first one is the I'm So Basic sock for Summer Lee that I have been working on. I have already finished the first sock, so I am currently working on the second sock. I have the heel flap and the heel turn done, but before I can work on the project I actually want to work on, I have to complete the gusset. This is because I am going on vacation at the end of next week. I am going to a NASCAR race in Las Vegas. And at races, you are typically sitting down for a lot of time, in my very limited experience. So I wanted to bring a project that is just stockinette in the round, which means I have to get through the complicated parts of this sock so I cannot just have like the very simple I'm going in a circle until I reach the size it needs to be. So it is Sunday. I'm leaving Thursday, so before I go, I want to have the gusset decreases finished. So at that point, I'm just fully working on the round. I plan on working on this tonight. It sucks a little bit because I was like, I would have already had the gusset done, except I was an idiot and I accidentally did my heel flap and turned backwards. So I had to frog that entire thing and redo it yesterday, which is I'll never do my heel turn backwards again. So I'll never make that mistake a second time, but it was really not fun to realize that yesterday because I was very much giving myself pats on the back for being so, like, for doing so good and finishing that. And then the other project that I want to get done before I focus on my brainworm project is this teeny tiny little hat. And by done, I mean to a point where it's very simple to go forward, and not done. So this is the Robin beanie by Sari Nordlund. I'm on the 3rd row of the Robin beanie by Sari Nordlund. This is Wandering Flock, the accessory kit, so it's fingering and their mohair kid silk in the color Neon Coral. This beanie. It's worked top down, obviously, because obviously this is not fitting on my head as it is. But there's like about like 25 rows of increases. So I'd like to finish those 25 rows of increases on the off chance that during the 3 days I'm watching the car race, I finished like the length of the sock and I need to bring like a second project. I doubt we'll get to that point, but you know, I'd rather have a head start on this hat and then like not get to it than like run out of things to do at the racetrack, because idle hands are the devil's playthings. Those are the 2 projects I need to get to a certain stage before I go to Vegas, because I just want to have them to work on while I'm there and I don't want to be giving them a lot of thought. Now let's talk about the Brainworms project. So in this bag, I have my first knitted garment. I have a lot of crochet. I think I discussed at the beginning of the year that I had not had the desire to knit a full garment, that I still was only interested in crocheting garments. And I said in that video that I wasn't going to say I was never going to knit a garment, because I knew that that probably wasn't going to be true. And I didn't even last a full 6 months. I am here at the beginning of the year with the start of a knitted cardigan. So this is the step-by-step cardigan. I'm sorry I don't have a way to like look up the designer name, so it will be in the screen. And this yarn is You're On Your Own Kid by Sorella Yarns. It's part of their Taylor Swift collection. And I very much wanted to cast on a knitted cardigan. I had another cardigan in mind that I likely will cast on come whenever this cardigan is finished. But I decided to go with this one because I knew I wanted to do the step-by-step cardigan just to see like the general way like a cardigan is constructed, and I wanted to have the help of the video that was provided if I got like stuck on something or I needed like a reference. So this yarn, I really butchered this skein trying to get a center pull from it. So this yarn is very pretty. It's very like, what it reminds me of is like old Crayola. Like it reminds me of like a vintage Crayola set where it's like very rustic-y and like, what's it called? Like the sepia filter sort of situation. But I am really wanting to work on it. It's a worsted weight project. And it's so funny, like I bought yarn to crochet a worsted weight cardigan. But then like I couldn't find a crochet cardigan pattern that I liked. So now I'm knitting a cardigan and I'm gonna have like 5 leftover skeins of worsted weight yarn in this color. So I guess I'll make like a vest or something eventually. When it gets to that point, but it's just a little silly. So that is our current WIP situation. However, there is a WIP that will be cast on soon. And that is a WIP that I have wanted to make for a while, but haven't yet, and I wasn't intending on making it until next fall. However, Pom Pom magazine is doing a cowl for it, and since I have had like the desire to make this scarf for so long, I'm like I should participate in this cowl. So Pom Pom magazine is doing a knit along for their red wear scarf And I, again, don't know the designer name for this either because I'm horribly unprepared for this video. But specifically, there's a version of this scarf that they posted where it was like a solid red with like a pink mohair. And I really wanted to make that version, like a similar version. But I couldn't find a pink mohair that goes with this yarn. And this yarn is the exact yarn that designer used. It is the perfect red. Like, it is a true fire truck red. And I love it so much. And I was so dedicated to doing the scarf in this red color. And I was like, but there wasn't, handwork didn't have a pink mohair that was like matching with this. Like, it just was like too, like it was too orange or too blue, too purple, and it just wasn't working. So what we landed on is that I am going to do this color, and then I'm going to do 2 colors of mohair, not held together. I'm going to do them separately. But I'm going to do white squares and red squares. And the red very much matches this. And then the white, I think it'll just be like a very cute, like picnic sort of thing. And I don't know, I'm very excited about this. This yarn is the Beiches, and oh, I'm saying this incorrectly, and Bouches Les Petites Silk and Mohair. It is 30% mulberry silk and 70% super kid mohair. It's made in Italy. You know her, you love her. But I will be casting on this redwear scarf here pretty soon because the cow starts this week. I might wait until I'm back from Vegas to actually cast it on, just so I don't have like this actively on like the needles at the same time as these other things, because I do imagine, if nothing else, this sock will be finished by the end of Vegas. Like, I do think I will get to that point. So those are all of the WIPs I am currently working on. Now you are updated on the entirety of the situation on the WIPs and what it is I have to finish to be like caught up by the end of March. Obviously, some of these are not going to be finished. I'm not delusional. I do know myself a little bit. So realistically, I want to have the shawl done and like both of these done, and possibly also the redwear. But I just listed 4 of the 5 WIPs as things I want to get done. I don't know when I want to get done. I'm just happy to be here. I'm just happy to do this. I love knitting. I love this hobby. It's so fantastic. And I'm excited to work on all of these things. And thank you for watching this video. I'm sure it was kind of sporadic and all over the place because normally I put together a bunch of notes for these videos. And unfortunately, I didn't for this video. It was a very spontaneous, the weather was nice, I felt like filming, I'm just gonna put all these bags here and obviously I'll know what I want to say. So thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and then also subscribe so you can see more of these. If you like me, thank you. And if you want to give me compliments in the description down or in the comment box, please do. If you didn't like me, keep it to yourself. It's rude. And then, stay safe. Take care of yourself, and I will endeavor to see you again in the future. I will do everything in my power. All right, bye-bye.